So I think I captured everything. I'm going to hand this down to you guys. Can you please tell me what your name is and what your film was?
My name is Erin Turney, and my film was Mama no Kite Business, or Business Mother, the second film that had screened.
Hi, my name is Latajh, and my series was Cycles. It was the first episode of a 5-part web series.
Hey.
I know.
Hey, my name is Nteri. My film was Snow Mountain, my first film that I shot.
So quick question about the cycles, because I know that when we screened it as a pilot, is what's up with the series? Oh, okay, never mind, they all have it as ready.
Yeah, the series, we just wrapped production a few weeks ago, so we're still in the editing process. We're looking to release it early January.
Awesome, that's so cool. And Ed, what made you think about your film? I mean, they're camping, they're not camping?
So the short answer of that is that I've been fascinated by the juxtaposition of people that camp for recreation and people that do it because they have to. And I've actually done both, and I think that those two worlds living on top of each other just was the perfect idea for a film. So that's where that came from.
Erin, I'll gladly hand this one over to you. Tell us a little bit more about Business Mothers and what you, I guess, were hoping to accomplish by showing this film that was shot in Haiti.
Yeah, so I made this film actually in 2014, and the mothers that I met were from, they all are part of this nonprofit that does microcredit loans for women to start their own businesses. But I wanted to focus more on the women rather than the nonprofit, and just kind of the kind of combination of work and also being a mother, which is, you know, another job, and just kind of that balance of, you know, do they want their children to kind of continue their work, or just kind of how that balance is for them, and just very kind of observational on, you know, their life and their culture, without kind of spotlighting on, you know, just kind of the obstacles that they face as far as, you know, their living and all the extra work that they have to do.
So here at Liberated Lens Film Collective, we really focus on how do we highlight and support fellow independent filmmakers, or as I like to call them, autonomous filmmakers. As filmmakers, how difficult is it to A, produce a film, but then B, distribute it? Anybody can answer.
For distributing, I'm not sure yet, because we haven't gotten to that part, but to produce a film, when you're low budget, independent, it's very difficult getting all the resources you need.
I would jump onto it. So it took me about a full year before I actually went to Haiti and did a round of, you know, Indiegogo, and was able to get a grant from the school that I was attending. But I mean, it was the Indiegogo part of it, of just the crowdfunding, was just constantly talking about it, which is just a lot of extra energy, and just, you know, trying to reach new people, and, you know, kind of, rather than, you know, sharing it with your, you know, set amount of followers, but how do you expand? And yeah, you have to get a little crafty, but yeah, I was able to at least, you know, make my goal, and then yeah, just kind of pulling in all your resources to try to make things work if you know, couldn't make your budget.
So I'm not a filmmaker. This is my first film. I'm a writer and a photographer. And I have like mad respect for anybody who ever made a film or makes a film. Anytime you see a film, it's an absolute miracle that it's on the screen. That's what I learned in this process. For me, this was like film school in about 4 months. It took 4 months to make the Snow Mountain film. It's a 5-minute film, like 5 minutes. I honestly was like, yo, let's just shoot it, put it out, let's keep it moving. And I learned so much about raising your own money. I mean, I spent my own money to make it, getting people, getting places, just collaborating, getting, just using every resource you possibly could have to make it. And even then, it's a miracle if it comes together. So I have a lot of respect for filmmakers, and it made me really question if you're really about it, like long term, you know? Which I think I am.
That's awesome. And yes, I can totally attest to that, and it's painful. And then, you know, you look at it and it's gone, it's called a short film, and you're like, does anybody know that, like, how long, like, how many hours and months went into that? So you guys have an audience in front of you ready to listen to you. So what do you want them to know about either your film or your process? What do you think people need to know to understand? And maybe that's where it comes from, especially if this is a social impact film festival, right? We're focusing on films that have themes of social justice. So if you want to even talk about that, like, is it important putting social justice themes into the work that you do? Anybody can take it.
Might have to have you read. I guess it's just kind of open mic right now.
Open mic, social justice.
Okay. I do think as an artist, you know, you do have a responsibility to, you know, be authentic with yourself, but also if you are portraying, you know, someone outside of your own, to also be authentic for themselves, and to not, you know, fabricate their life to cater into a certain box, which is why I didn't include myself in the film, or, you know, any of the production. It was, you know, just to be in this town and in, you know, mainly Inez, the main mother's world, just so that the viewer could educate themselves visually rather than just an outsider person speaking on their behalf. And I try to, you know, keep doing that in, you know, the work that I've done since. This was actually the first film that I ever made, and, you know, I did go to film school. And one thing that I had noticed in film school was that so many people devote so much time in the production of it, and, you know, just being on set and actually, you know, shooting the film, but there were so many projects that I just wouldn't see in completion and actually, you know, watch. So as far as distribution, it's kind of just, you know, finishing the post-production, whether you, you know, it's really vulnerable showing someone your work, whether it's, you know, rough cut or even in its final stages. And so, you know, being able to actually, even if just distribution is putting it online, that's just such a much more valuable than just hoarding it for yourself. So yeah, that's my 2 cents about distribution.
Yeah, for me, this was also my first production, and, you know, it was really difficult. This story was a story based off my mother's experience while working at Highland Hospital as a youth advocate worker. And it was really hard to make sure that we portrayed, you know, the story correctly. And yeah, but we did it. We got through it. And sorry, I kind of forgot what the question was.
I know, it's because I made it so broad. Basically, I was just saying it's important for you to add an element of social justice into your work. Is that something that you focus on when you are, like, through your process?
Yeah, I definitely think the stories that I want to tell are stories that matter and real things that are happening today. So this definitely was an important story for me, not only because it was my mom, but because I grew up in Oakland, seeing, you know, violence happen every day. So I definitely, yeah, was incorporating that into what I was, you know, presenting out to everyone.
Yeah, I'll quickly say, on the social justice piece, we all have different skills and talents, and I think you should use whatever your skill is to address what you think is important. So I know a lot of people who are social justice workers, and the way that they approach what I wanted to talk about was to go out and organize and feed, things like that. The way I approach it is to make a film, start a conversation. So it's important, I guess, because it's just what you know how to do, and it's one way to spread what you're thinking about, explore what you're thinking about.
Awesome. So as you've noticed, we have a panel, and I just want to let you guys know that this is something we do on the regs. Like, it's not just about showing films, it's about developing and creating community around community discussions. So having panels along with screenings is something really important, and what we focus on doing. With that said, I think we have about time for about 2 to 3 questions from the audience. Who has a burning question for the filmmakers? Here we go.
Hi. On the scene when you trying to get the little boy to dream of a way to go to sleep, the mother said she liked to think about being in the swimming pool. And did you do that with one of those? What do they call them?
A drone.
Drone? Yeah.
That's correct. Yeah.
It was a drone. Huh? Yeah, that's pretty neat. That was your first video, huh?
Yeah.
First film?
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Anybody have a question? Really? You guys have no questions for our filmmakers? Do you want me to make up another one? I know, I hate hogging the mic, guys. I know you can't tell, but I don't like doing it. Okay, here we go.
Have you guys all shown these films before? And if not, how was it showing it to people and sharing it? And yeah, what's it like to see it in a group setting?
So this screening is actually a full circle for me. I did screen this, I guess, the following year after being in Haiti. And it was one of 4 kind of like short pieces. And I was able to have it screened in 3 different cities. I was currently living in, or at the time I was living in Chicago, so I screened it there. I screened it in my hometown of St. Louis, and then I actually screened it here in Oakland because the director of the nonprofit knew someone and they had a screening here. So I recently moved to the Bay Area this past July, so it was just kind of a nice full circle to bring this film that kind of was a, first for me in a similar location, but actually being present here. So yeah, this film is screened, so in those 3 cities, and then it also screened in Paris at this like small little ethnographic film festival, which was equally exciting. Just kind of a small group of filmmakers from all over. But no matter how many times you screen something of yours, you still get like really nervous. Like when I saw the titles go up, I was just like, oh, like hopefully everything's okay. And just critiquing myself now that I've done other videos in the past, 4 or 5 years. So there's a lot of just kind of sweating and nervousness, but yeah, it's still cool having new eyes seeing your film.
Yeah, so I screened Cycles this episode one other time a few months ago. It was a smaller crowd, but yeah, this is the first real big screening, and it makes me a little nervous. But it's great to see it on the big screen, and it's great to have a lot of people see it. We've been working on it for a year now, so it's great to finally share it with people.
Snow Mountain has never been screened anywhere. This is the first time. And it's absolutely terrifying.
Anybody else? Oh, we have one more question?
Yep. What is your next project? What are you working on, and how can we follow up on your work? Like, where do we find it? How do we see it? And also, you're welcome to screen your films with us.
Cool. I'll quickly say, I am a writer, so I write constantly. I have two features that I've pretty much completed that I'm going to try to shoot. I love shorts, but I want to go all in. I love the challenge of a feature film, especially low budget feature. And work-wise, I mean, Instagram. You know, I put photography up there a lot. If anybody's
What's your handle? Say it out loud.
It's my last name and my first initial, so it's Nteri, Ntiri. If you guys like black and white photography and stuff like that. Thank you.
That sounds awesome.
Yep. Yeah, right now I'm just still finishing the rest of these episodes for Cycles. We're just working on post-production, but you can check the website for updates, it's cycleswebseries.com, and we'll post the episodes there in a few months.
And it's also on Facebook, right? Because I remember us tagging it. We're like, Cycles.
Yeah, we also have a Facebook page, Cycles Web Series, on Twitter too, and Instagram.
Cool. So I now co-own a small production company here in the Bay Area called Bearfish Productions, which you can follow on Instagram or Facebook if you just type in, the two animals as one. Bearfish Productions does more outdoor education and adventure, and we have some, projects in the works that we're writing up, but also just kind of maintaining it as a business and, just kind of keep trucking.
Which means if you know anybody who needs corporate videos, you know where to find someone.
Corporate documenting, whatever. We'll shoot for whatever. But yeah, it's this project is probably one of the only projects that I truly call my own, which was hard to say when I was just doing freelance in Chicago, because everyone just asked like, oh, so what project are you working on? And you just kind of feel bad about not having a personal project, but when it's also your work and way of making a living, it can be hard trying to find that balance of passion project and just work for money. And recently have been taking on jobs that I can call somewhat my own, even though it wasn't originated from myself. But it's definitely, I don't know if you guys can contest it, it's hard trying to find time for films that you actually want to make.
Oh, we have a last question.
Oh, but you do put your best into commercial things, and I'm sure they're not something horrific. You make some discerning about what you're putting your energy into, and I'm sure you do your best to bring something positive to the viewers and experience.
Yeah, I definitely, whenever I take on a job, I think, okay, how can I personally benefit from it? Because I've realized that, it's not so much the money, but it's my time. And so if I'm, because I've worked on, just kind of things that it just doesn't, I don't think of like, sharing about it. And so that was kind of one turning point that I had right before I moved of like, okay, like what job will, what project actually like can I relate to, or that, has something of, my artistic purpose, rather than something that will give me, a decent paycheck. So definitely valuing time over money, but it's, can be hard. But you make it work, and you find the right people who can give you those jobs that, can be a mix of both.
Cool. So let's give a hand to our filmmakers. And talking about projects, future projects, please sign up to liberatedlens.org's newsletter. There's a sign-up sheet over there, or you can put it on your ballot, your email address, or you can do it directly on our website. We have something really exciting coming up in 2019 that we're planning. In August, we're going to celebrate celebrate is kind of a strong word, commemorate the 400 years of Africans in British North America, aka America. So what we're going to be doing is each month, starting from Black History Month, we are going to have a evening of films that represent a different part of the Black experience in America. And we also are going to have a special event where we look at sort of the larger diaspora, and we have films from Italy and the UK, and so it's a nice eclectic mix, so make sure to look out for that. And thank you guys, we appreciate it. You guys ready for some more films? No, it was a long night. We're ready. We want some more. So this next slate of films is coming from all around America and international. So now we've gone out from the Bay Area. It's going to be really exciting. Don't forget, we got food. We hate waste. We got drinks. And we got the raffle. Please get more raffle tickets because we have some awesome gifts. If you need me to read them off again, I will, but don't make me. Give us some